things theology, all things theology. We chop it up properly, without an apology. Gotta give that theology to God, hallowed be, cause this is how we do it at All Things Theology.
But we're not done. Speaking of politicians, we got to talk about Al Sharpton. Y'all know about Al? He been in the game a long time. And he's still at it, man. He is still at it. Old Al Sharpton. Somebody invited this man to a church and let him preach, and it's just as bad. So let's actually talk about it. Let's get into old Sharpton.
But we don't know the Dr. King that stood up, indicted for stealing money out of the Montgomery Improvement Association, dragged through the mud. And Dr. King all that happened because of that Montgomery boycott. I preached at Dexter Avenue, the church he pastored. I preached there 3 Sundays ago. And I was reminded of the stories from some of them. But again, he learned it from Adam right here in this church. And that's why tomorrow in Washington, they're going to inaugurate President Trump, 47th President of the United States, which he won the election. But across town at Metropolitan AME, we're having a rally, church where Frederick Douglass was funeralized, church where we brought Rosa Parks' body, and we're going to start a 90-day countdown. We're going to start some of these companies that want to end DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Well, they can do that. But you cannot end diversity, equity, and inclusion and have diverse consumers.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because the whole issue of DEI, equity, is not based on merits, but is based on just the fact that it's diverse. We're going to include people of diversity, regardless if they actually are qualified for the job. I don't want equity. I want equality. There's a huge difference between the two, right? And just because let's just say this, just because someone's not able to reach the outcome as me or as another person doesn't mean there's an injustice going on, right? Can you imagine someone who's 5'5" complaining that the NBA is unjust because they're not as tall as the average NBA player? Would it be just to cut everybody's legs off a foot to meet the standards of the person that's 5'5"? No, it wouldn't. Right? Again, just because everyone's not able to reach the same outcome doesn't mean necessarily there's an injustice going on. We need equal opportunities for all people, not equal outcomes. That's my position. And I think there is fairness in that. But let's keep going.
So we going back to the King Adam thing. We're going to call some boycotts in about 90 days.
So they about to rip and rave through the town and boycott these places that won't, adhere to DEI, which is silly. All right, do you, boo?
So since you don't want to assure us of nothing, we will buy from those that will give us what it is that we think we deserve.
Why is she crying? Like, she either crying or she mad bored. Either one, but it looked like she's crying at me. And why y'all talking about why y'all saying this man look like Cat Williams? Someone called him a Harry Potter's mentor. Y'all wrong. Leave him alone.
And the Senate and the Congress and the President, Congressman SBI, they can't make no legislation to make us buy where we are not respected. So when we start withdrawing our dollars, if Adam Powell could do it in the 30s, if Martin Luther King could do it in the 50s, then what's wrong with us with all this stuff we got to work with? I mean, I don't understand it. They closed the country down. Do you understand that Dr. King never knew what a cell phone was? Never had social media, never knew Facebook, never knew Instagram. And here we got all these ways to communicate.
Now, I find it insulting to people who actually went through a lot of hardships, like King and even people before him. I think of Jim Crow, segregation laws and things like that, water fountains, sitting backing up. I find it insulting to the people who actually fought for justice to say, well, they won't hire me because of DEI. I mean, look, we live in a society where, look, if someone's being, unjust, start your business. And guess what? I'll support people. I'll support you if there's like some major injustice where they saying we ain't gonna let black people work here because we racist. Well, guess what? Black people have historically, I think of there was Black Wall Street. What was it, in Oklahoma City? Thrived during a period of extreme racial prejudice. Look, let's get together and work. We ain't got to cry all the time. Hey, man, the white man holding me back, man. I can't do nothing about it. Yes, you can. There's opportunities out there. Let's go get it. Man, black people have done so much in this country in the face of injustice and being held back in. But, man, we got so much and complain all the time. Come on, man.
Got 2 cell phones in your pocket. On Instagram, on TikTok, they about to knock you out, but you're on everything else.
TikTok back
got
now.
50 ways to communicate and can't get 5 Negroes together to do nothing.
Yeah, there's so much. It's a mess. It's a mess. Let's keep going. What else we got? All right, let's go to this. Because he wanted to talk about Nebuchadnezzar. Let's hear what he has to say.
Whom you've set over the affairs of the province of Babylon. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And we want you to know that when the music plays, they have not bowed. I want to use for thought. I'm going to stop right there. I want to use for thought. Don't bow. Don't bow.
Now, I agree with this principle. We don't bow. We don't bow to what the government tells us if they're telling us to do something contrary to the faith. Totally agree with that. But it don't just apply to Republicans. It applies to the Democrats, which he's been lobbying for decades. How come it's bow to them? Shout out to my sis, Blake 3, with the gifted memberships. Y'all enjoy it. Y'all enjoy it. Hold on, I gotta cook on that.
Let him cook! I said, let him cook!
Yeah, thanks for the memberships. But again, bowing is not just a one-party principle. We don't bow to either party that's telling us to contradict our faith. Oh yeah, so now Trump is Nebuchadnezzar? Oh yeah, he's going to say that, essentially. He's going to compare it to Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar was literally throwing people in the fire for not worshiping him. Is that what Trump is doing? Bow to me and worship me, or prison time. Is that what he's doing? Biden wasn't doing that. Like, we have literally never had a Nebuchadnezzar type president. As bad as you think they have all been, or any have been, whatever your flavor. But he's gonna make some wild comparisons. Watch this.
We are being told that we are in precarious times. Tomorrow, while we're rallying, Donald Trump will be sworn in. And he has said that he's going to start immediately with an aggressive immigration policy.
Praise be to God. Why do I say that? Because I'm against immigrants? Absolutely not. I am for immigration when it's done the right way. When it's done the right way, a nation has laws, borders, policies. that protect the people. Because when you just allow all sorts of mass flooding of immigration, you get problems. Why? I mean, we see that now, don't we? Don't we see that now where, I mean, you're literally hearing viral story after viral story of somebody coming over here illegally. I mean, we got fentanyl being just blown into this country. People just murdering random people. We need controlled immigration. People who we know who coming in. I mean, let's just get to that. We need to know who's coming into the country. Oh, you're a law-abiding citizen. Have you been a problem in your own country? Let's get to that. Oh, you want to come over here legally? Yes. How may we help you? Right? You selling fentanyl to everybody and trying to come over here? No, sir. You been murdering over there? No, sir, ma'am. We don't need, and yes, we need to be about the American people first before we can help other people. Shout out to Blake again with this gifted membership. Look at that DEI coming in, helping a brother. Yeah. We don't need this just allowing all. Yes. Look, we need it to be controlled. You have so many problems when that's not the case. And because then you have the illegal immigrants coming over here, taking jobs from people that should be here. Again, look, I know, a lot of people who complain about them taking jobs don't even want to do the jobs that they're doing. I get it. So there needs to be a balance. But sometimes people hire them because they're less pay and they can't pay. They won't pay the people. I mean, you can pay people like $5, $6. They'll be happy. Why? Because, I mean, they can't, it's hard to find jobs if you don't have actual American status. So they take whatever they can get, even undocumented jobs under the table. Y'all know how it is. Under the pay jobs. You pay $5, $6 an hour where you have to pay somebody like 14, 15. Of course, they're going to go with the person that's less. From a business perspective, it makes sense. But I mean, those are things that people aren't thinking about. Some people.
Mass deportation. He's already said they're going into Chicago. I had the mayor of Chicago on the phone with us last night. He also said he's going to sign executive orders against DEI. He says he's going to do several things. And there is.
Let me read this super. Shout out to Cap America. He says, historical point as to what was said earlier, Tulsa, Oklahoma, specifically the Greenwood district. It's what were Higher Dimension Christian Center, what stood as Transformation Church stands today. Yeah. There's some interesting things about Tulsa in and of itself when it comes to historic racism and things like that.
The debate among many of how to deal with Trump. Some say, well, we ought to go to Mar-a-Lago and see him. When he got elected the first time, he called me and invited me to Mar-a-Lago, and I've known Donald Trump 30-some years, marched on him about Central Park 5. We had several encounters. And he said, we can talk. I said, I will only talk to you if we can bring all the civil rights leaders.
Now, it's interesting how people kind of, Trump has, been personified by like people like Sharpton. Because, I mean, just, a few years ago, man, they were loving Trump. I mean, all the rappers were at Trump. And it's like almost like there's an agenda when it comes to Trump specifically. I ain't saying everybody being paid, but it's like they flip. I mean, Trump hasn't really, he's been his same guy and same person in some sense, right? He's always been kind of speak it how he thinks it kind of guy, for better or for worse, right? But yeah, Chubby AI. Y'all miss Chubby AI?
I know them. I said, well, I'm not doing the photo op.
He said he's not doing a photo op. Bro, you got plenty of pictures with Trump online. Plenty. Now, you were big then. You were Big Al. Not Thin Al, but yeah.
And I didn't meet with him. Then when we got Choose Healthy Life going with Dr. Butts and I, we called and tried to get them to help get the churches. And it's interesting to me. When Biden got in and Mrs. Jill Biden came to this church, walked with Sister Butts and Dr. Butts, getting vaccination for people. the guy they putting over health now, had people marching on the corner of this church against black church folks getting vaccination.
I know a lot of black people didn't want that shot. Me being one of them. I don't want that shot. You can keep that, bro. You can keep it, man. But yeah, as someone's quoted, all this is just black liberation theology, where Christian now becomes some kind of social political movement to effect change rather than the gospel. That's what I want to ask these guys. What is the gospel? Who is Christ? Those things are actually at the bottom in some of these churches. But going out and marching, that is top priority of the Christian church.
I'm not talking about back in the day. I'm talking about a couple years ago. Marched on a black church if black people wanted to be vaccinated. They're going to power tomorrow. And they're going to threaten a lot of things, and they're going to say that we must bend and buckle and bow to them. They're in charge. But I come to remind you that this church and the black church was not built on that.
So yeah, apparently today is Trump's way of saying you need to bow. Apparently comparing him to Nebuchadnezzar, accusing him of demanding people worship him. Guys, that's not an interpretation. He's going to literally say that in a second. You don't believe me? Just stand by. We'll get to that in a second. It might be this one. Oh, no, it's the next clip, but listen to this too.
And he said, when you hear the music.
Oh, yeah, watch this.
I want you to bow. Yeah. Somebody came to Nebuchadnezzar. You know, there's always some snitches around. And they went, you read the scripture. They went, Daniel 3, read the whole chapter. He said, Almighty King, you know you got to play this ego. You don't believe it, look at the inauguration tomorrow. You got to play the ego. Said, did you not decree that when the music played, we had to bow to your gods?
Now notice, there was a little illusion right there that Trump's going to be playing the music and telling people to bow. Look, I've seen some of the coverage. But I haven't seen Trump saying anywhere or ever to tell people to bow to me or you're going to die, like Nebuchadnezzar. I mean, this is just some extreme creating fear in people. That's all this does. Be fearful. You know, you go in barbershops, people like, man, hey, I heard Trump said you got to worship me or you're going to die. Oh, it's silly. One more of this, just so you can see.
Bendigo went with him, and they threw him in the fiery furnace, burning him up 7 times hotter than ever before. But before the story ends, Nebuchadnezzar the king looked. Said, wait a minute, I thought I put 3 in there. But it looked like I can count 4. And the 4th one looks like the Son of God. I come to this historic church to tell you I hear Trump's music, but I can't bow.
So notice he's been saying Nebuchadnezzar would play the music. Every time you play the music, that is the call to worship. And he's saying, hey, I hear Trump's music, but I'm not bowing, as if even Trump is asking for that. Again, Trump got his issues, but he ain't telling people to worship him. I mean, Biden wasn't saying that. Harris wasn't saying that, right? Again, if you're going to critique somebody, criticize them, at least be fair to what they're actually saying. This is just creating fear, and the whole church is just clapping. What are they clapping about? Like, nobody in this church says, wait a second, he ain't saying that. And I don't like Trump, but even Trump ain't saying that.
The God of Martin Luther King, the God of Adam Powell. Oh, they gonna throw us in some furnaces. Sheena, they gonna mess with us. But every furnace they got, God can step in the flames.
So yeah, we're going to be thrown in some furnace, and maybe he means that symbolically. We're going to be thrown in prison if we don't bow the knee to Trump demanding worship. This is conspiratorial mess right here he's throwing out.
We come too far to turn around now. We fought too many battles. We suffered too many nights in jail. We buried too many of our martyrs. I can't bow.
Yeah, black people have come too far, only to be praising and promoting Sexy Red, right? I mean, what a shame. What a shame, right? Yeah, what a grifter. What a grifter, man. That the fact that this man is in the pulpit doing all this nonsense, right? Oh, grace and peace. Thank you for watching another episode of All Things Theology. If you enjoyed what you heard today, go on and give me a like. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. I promise to give you weekly lives, videos, interactions, exposing false teachers, sharing with you, the viewer, my theological beliefs, things about the culture, and the Bible. So if you're here for that, come on and join us. Also, if you would like to support this channel financially, you can do so by becoming a Patreon member or a YouTube member. Links are in the description below. You can see content before it drops. You can also have Q&A sessions with also other Patreon members, YouTube members as well. So if you would like that, hit the description link in below.